No one believed he was a defensive midfielder. His scout coaches insisted he was a striker. His first European club didn't believe in him either and loaned him out as soon as he was bought. Even his mom didn't believe in his football, but somehow Casemiro has managed to prove all of them wrong. Becoming one of the trio in the infamous Bermuda Triangle, clinching the Champions League title 5 times with Real Madrid and going home with the biggest bag in Manchester United. But there was one scary truth lurking now, and it seems Casemiro won't be able to make this truth false. Something that could make or mar Casemiro's legacy at United. Manchester United never knew this. If they did, they wouldn't have signed him. Since the time of Pelé, Brazilian footballers have always been associated with flashy and effortlessly skilled styles of play. Attacking players like Ronaldinho, Zico, Ronaldo, Rivaldo, Romario, Kaká, and Neymar have not failed to continue in this light. Excited fans with their incredible goal-scoring ability, leg-breaking dribbles, and unquestionable finesse on the ball. This was the same route Casemiro was taking until something happened. Carlos Enrique Casemiro's first football quest was when he went for Sao Paulo's scouting trial. When he arrived, there were 300 youngsters and the academy was only selecting 50 players. Casemiro had always played at the front because of his good physique, but when he saw 3 people raise their hands for the goalkeeper position and 50 raise their hands as forwards, young Casemiro wanted a position with less competition. You wouldn't blame him. He needed to get into the academy. His mother was a maid, and she didn't put much faith in his football career until he became a Sao Paulo player. So it was only when the coach asked who was a defensive midfielder and only 8 players raised their hands that Casemiro also raised his hands to join the folks, even though he hadn't played there before. The coach wasn't convinced he was a defensive midfielder and said he was built like a striker, but Casemiro disagreed. That would pay off well for young Casemiro. His natural ability to run after the ball tirelessly gained him entrance into Sao Paulo's academy, where he quickly rose to become captain of the youth side at the age of 11. Although he suffered a setback when he was diagnosed with hepatitis when he was 14, he recovered and returned to playing. In 2010, at the age of 18, Casemiro made his debut for Sao Paulo and established himself as a first-team player for the next 3 seasons. Blazing in the best form of his life, he received a call-up from the Brazilian under-20 side alongside Neymar and Lucas Moura, winning the South American Championship. Now the big clubs had their eyes on him, but Real Madrid saw something better. They saw that he would become their next Claude Makélélé because of his style of play. If you love our style of video, a thumbs up and a sub to the channel will be appreciated. Casemiro's intelligence and physicality, combined with his mobility, aggression, and hard tackles, made him a complete defensive midfielder. His high work rate on and off the ball and his excellent technical ability have made coaches play him as a center back or a box-to-box midfielder. Just like a gymnast on a beam, Casemiro is known for bringing balance to the team, but not until recently. I'll get to that shortly. But since his days in Sao Paulo, the Brazilian midfielder has supported the offensive midfielders by picking up on loose balls, winning back possession, then passing the ball for attack. But his midfield role doesn't end there. Casemiro is also very well-grounded, possesses long-range rockets from outside the box, and has an eye for goal. Why not? He is Brazilian and he was a forward. Still, his role as a holding midfielder is impeccable, always reading the game, cutting out counterattacks, and shielding the defense line. It's not a surprise that he's called the Destroyer by the Spanish media, but it wasn't always like that. Casemiro didn't arrive at Real Madrid as a star. He came in January 2013 as a lone player and played for Real Madrid's B team. Before Real Madrid, Castilla paid €6 million for a 4-year permanent move from Sao Paulo. The Los Blancos would go on to sell Casemiro for more than 1,000% of the amount the club bought him for. But first, the 22-year-old midfielder had to go on a season-long loan to Porto, making his appearance in 41 games and scoring 4 goals, including a sensational free kick on March 10, 2015. Then, 3 months later, Real Madrid activated his buyback clause and extended his contract to 2021. Still, even from his return to Real Madrid's first team, he was mostly a reserve team player until Zinedine Zidane succeeded Rafael Benitez in January 2016, and suddenly, Casemiro entered his golden era. Under Zizou, he became a regular starter and formed arguably the best midfield trio with Luka Modric and Toni Kroos. These trios were famously known as the Holy Trinity or the Bermuda Triangle by Ancelotti, and they went on to win 3 consecutive Champions League titles with Zidane. That year, he played 11 Champions League games, including the final against fierce rivals Atletico Madrid. He played a total of 120 minutes before going to a penalty shootout, and Madrid won it. He followed up his first successful year in Madrid's jersey by winning and scoring in both the Champions League and UEFA Super Cup finals. In the same year, he won the Spanish title with 25 appearances to his name, scoring 4 goals and helping Madrid claim the title for the first time in 5 years. Then, during the 2017-2018 Champions League campaign, Casemiro made 12 appearances, scoring in the final as Real Madrid won the title for the 3rd consecutive time, a feat that has never been duplicated since the Champions League restructure in 1992. In the 2019-2020 season, he won his 2nd La Liga title. By now, Casemiro had become one of the most important players for Real Madrid, and in August of the next year, he extended his contract to 4 more years. But the 2021-22 season will become the last year for Casemiro in a Madrid shirt. He wasn't aware of this until the end of the season. Still, he continued playing with so much hunger for more trophies and finished the season with his 5th Champions League title and 3rd La Liga title. Then, Manchester United came calling and everything fell like a house of cards. Manchester United were desperately looking for an experienced defensive midfielder and came to Madrid with an irresistible offer. This made Casemiro the 3rd most expensive player ever sold in the club's history after Cristiano Ronaldo and Angel Di Maria. For Casemiro, he couldn't resist making almost double what he had ever earned at Real Madrid. Also, he was at the twilight of his career and has won every cup possible in Madrid more than once. No better way to end his time at Real Madrid by riding into the sunset. But he rode into a shaky Manchester United that has been having troubles ever since Sir Alex Ferguson retired. United manager Ten Hag had high praise for Casemiro, describing him as the cement between the stones. The first year with the Red Devils came with a shaky start with suspensions, but ended well, finishing in the top 4 and winning the EFL Cup. But the truth that nobody is noticing is that Casemiro is not the same player he was at Real Madrid. Many thought he would replicate the same form he had last season, but this season, he was worse than he has ever been. A player who rarely gets injured and offers his team stability at the back has become a shadow of himself. The 5-time Champions League's winner's 2nd year in England has been plagued with injury and tactical errors. The cement between the stones is crumbling in front of Ten Hag. Since joining the Red Devils, Casemiro's long pass accuracy has significantly dropped from 76.1 in his final year in the La Liga to 52.9% in the 2023-2024 season. In the 2022-2023 season, he was able to bail himself out of losing possession with his impressive counter-pressing, but last season, wasn't it? In the 2023-24 season, the number of fouls, tackles, interceptions, and blocks made by Casemiro dropped lower than it was 5 years prior. This is a problem for United, as they are open in and around the penalty box, as Casemiro is no longer an effective counter-presser. This doesn't mean Casemiro is United's biggest problem, not at all. Although he spent a good amount of last season either injured or playing in a starting 11 plagued by injury, his card collection of 7 yellow cards and 1 red card shows an experienced player who's struggling. And the limited assistance of attackers and constantly rotating defenders behind him leaves Casemiro in jeopardy. Also, last season would be the first in his 11-year European career that his club would not finish in the top 4 out of its domestic league. It's safe to say that Casemiro is no longer the sharp axe that clears the forest, but a blunt one that can do very little. Although Ten Hag is very optimistic that Casemiro will definitely come out well, he also pointed out that he scored more goals last season than he ever did as a number 6. Notably, Casemiro has had to play as a center back because of the injury crisis at United, which United will have to sort out in the upcoming transfer window, but could this come with relieving Casemiro of his duties? Casemiro, before Manchester United's final game, made a case for himself. He reminded everyone that he was healthy with the same energy and mentality that he has always had. He also pointed out how former Chelsea defender Thiago Silva was able to do it, and how the previous Ballon d'Or winners are over 34 years old, and the likes of Kevin De Bruyne and Mohamed Salah are still on. Casemiro has always been a warrior on and off the ball, but age is no longer on his side, and this is the scary truth that nobody is talking about. Can he match the intensity the Premier League brings next season? If United decide to cash in on their loss, they would have to sell him for way less than he was bought. If Casemiro remains at United, Ten Hag would have to change his tactics. Maybe a chaotic counterattack style would reduce the space Casemiro has to cover, or they would have to buy a younger, more agile player to either play alongside Casemiro or be his replacement. Either way, something has to change. United cannot cheat their way through this, just like some of the worst players in history cheated in this video.